This is Michaela McLean, and you're listening to Beauty by Design. Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. We are here to, of course, talk about another gate. We're moving on to gate 62. Before we get into it, just catch you up on some things. Of course, I have the Aesthetic Next 5.0 giveaway. Enter to win one ticket to attend Aesthetic Next. That is a $975 value. All you have to do is follow Aesthetic Record, who hosts Aesthetic Next, and myself on Instagram, and then leave this podcast, Beauty by Design, a 5-star rating and review over on Apple Podcasts. In your review, drop your Instagram handle so I know that it was you, so I can find you when we do the drawing. That's going to be it'll close on the 29th, and then I'll announce the winner on the 30th, that episode of the show. At Aesthetic Next, I'm super excited about this because I'm going to be lecturing on, bringing wellness and things into the treatment room, number one. But my big thing is teaching a hands-on workshop. So if you are attending the conference and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to do this, I'm ready to bring, some level of, I say energy work, and I really want to reframe it, because again, clinically palatable. It's so much about things to help soothe the nervous system. It does not have to be woo or out there. This is something that is it can slip in seamlessly right alongside of anything that you're doing, whether you're doing facials or other treatments, or you're an injector, you have a medical assistant that can be, administering certain things. So it's definitely something I want to start seeing in clinics, and I think people are ready for it. And I just can't wait to reveal this big overarching project, life's work that I've been toiling away on here in the background. So yeah, if you're up for that and are ready to get, certified in level 1, start bringing that into your treatments, you know where to do it. So I'm actually going to be going, prior to Aesthetic Next, somewhere to do a training for a clinic, and which I will definitely share after the fact, after it's happened. But I'm really looking forward to that. I think some people, major people, major players in medical aesthetics are finally kind of starting to open up to this stuff and this idea, especially people that understand the place of like wellness in their clinic. So yeah, just really looking forward to all of it. Of course, I have a brand new Nidra out, the energy cleanse. There will be more coming, hint hint. More projects dropping in the near future. Of course, there is my free guide. Make sure you grab that if you don't have it yet, which will take you to the correct $11 Aura Type Masterclass for you if you're curious about all of this. And then if you want to go further, my Golden Experience Guide course, your energetic marketing guide, is definitely for aesthetic professionals. Number one, to figure out how to look at your own chart and take it through, all these elements, these placements, figure out how to market yourself, number one. But number two, and more importantly, especially if you really get bitten by this bug, it's like you're learning human design. So there's that. And then of course I did my first office hours for solo esthetician. Love the other day. It was so much fun. So basically in that program right now, you just have my Aura Type master classes. All of those are available. So you watch yours and then come to my office hours, and we're going to do learning on all kinds of other things. But this last one, I just showed up and basically did like readings for people. They had questions. I'm like, all right, let's pull up your chart. Let's look at human design and astrology for you, and let me tell you what I see. And I just have a blast doing that kind of stuff. So I love that, kind of like on the spot, in the moment. Let me just synthesize for you. I don't like to prepare all of this. Everything I talk about on here, it's like this is all in my head all the time. It flows. So yeah, I love to get to do that individual in the moment empowerment thing. Okay, so then we have Little Fox. There are new products coming Oh my goodness. And side note, the trip to Beauty Heroes got postponed, which is, you know what? I'm always like, everything happens for a reason. So I believe, I'm hesitant to say, I believe we're going to be going in September instead, to do this whole, 2-night event, which again, still, I'm very much looking forward to it. The stuff that I was working on preparing was like amazing. And kind of side note to that, it's a little bit of a seed and an introduction of things that we're going to be doing for the Little Fox professionals. Like if you are a brand partner with them, I'm really just really looking forward to sharing a lot of things on an intuitive level. This is the stuff that you can find in your chart. Intuitive beauty is a huge um, pillar for the brand for Little Fox. And I feel like my work, you can slice it so many different ways, and to help the brand partners really tap into their intuitive gifts based on their human design charts in deeper layers than what we're even talking about here. So if you are involved with Little Fox, if you carry Little Fox, these are things that are going to be open to you. And I'm just, again, I'm in the background creating so much cool stuff. I cannot wait to share it. So hop on the train, and be kind of like aware and watching for that. I think we'll probably start talking about some things soon. And then I think these classes are going to start here in the fall. So there you go. Let's go ahead and get on to the episode. Everything, if you're looking for it, links are in the show notes over on my Instagram bio at Michaela McLean. Um, and my disclaimer, don't try to understand this at the mental level. Let the sound current, the energy, and frequency of beauty seep into your cells like good skincare. And that is especially relevant with today's gate. So I'll tell you why. Gate 62, this is a Cancer gate, is located in the throat and part of collective logic or understanding circuitry. This is the more yang, cool-headed, the side that likes to plan and is focused on the future, that side of the chart. This is the one that likes repeatable patterns that you can experiment with to prove. This is a logical left brain, I always think refinement and alignment on this side of the collective circuitry versus the creative experiential flow of the collective abstract sensing side. And the keynote with all collective circuitry is sharing. I was just um Agent RX, Josh and I have been chatting a lot about some stuff. Again, projects to come. I'll drop those as soon as he's got me good verbiage for that. But I was saying I one of my, it's like children. It's like you can't pick your favorite. Everybody's my favorite, but there's different elements of the chart. And I'm like, oh, I love circuitry. So anyway, the circuitry all has keynotes attached to it. I talk about this all the time, but I'm kind of like pointing it out on purpose right now. With that keynote of sharing, it's like this is about the collective. It's not about the individual. It's not about small groups, tribes of people. The collective is everybody, right? And trying to move everybody forward. In this case, the logic, it's about looking to the future, moving forward and making things, better over time. So we share what we learn in logic. It's like math. 2 + 2 = 4. Okay, everybody knows that. So we share these things, it's a collective like understanding. Okay, sorry, off on that tangent. Back to business. So the throat, where this gate is located, it's the energy center for communication, self-expression, and manifestation. All energy in the chart is trying to make it to the throat to have something done about it. So gate 62 is known as preponderance of the small. It's the gate of details. And the keynote here is I think or not communicating detail and facts. And this gate is all about facts and details. It's someone who can organize information and turn it into something comprehensible. This is the voice of logic, and its gift is in spotting patterns and communicating the information. So 62 is said to be responsible for the creation of language, its ability to see what's going on. So its channel partner, which we're obviously going to talk about, is gate 17. So 17 sees what's going on, and then 62 is able to verbally translate and communicate that information, the patterns, the logic, the 2 plus 2 equals 4 thing. So with this, the low expression of this gate is it's obsessive about the details to a fault. It can't see the forest for the trees, thinking its own opinions are basically, the facts. And again, why I was kind of going off about logic circuitry, basically anything that exists in that circuitry is considered, when I said it's the cool side of the chart versus the warm side of the chart. So it can be a little cold, a little harsh, a little hard, anything coming if it's attached to logic circuitry, it's not personal. Collective energy is not personal. And this, from the logic side, is very to the point, right? And that's where that harshness can come from. So it's like, it's not necessarily that people with this are meaning to be that way, but it certainly can come off that way. Okay. And then also, these are people who I like don't like for their facts to be challenged. There's somebody in my life very, very close who this is their sun gate. So big, the biggest energy for them. And they can be very dismissive. Like that's the word that comes to mind is dismissive of what, like if there are other facts, but it doesn't fit their agenda, right? If you have this and you kind of resonate with that, you're like, ooh, yeah, I don't want to own up to that, right? And I do find that 62 can be a little bit of like a know-it-all energy even. But the high expression of this one is clear communication, that connects to the big collective picture. So it's using the mind, logic, and organization as a servant to the heart, using the mind to verbally communicate patterns. Like the throat, this is a throat gate. It's like I'm seeing things, but now I need to turn that into something verbal that is understandable for people. So I was obviously this is just like, somebody could hone in on the details. It's very manager vibes too. And then also just people that really make sure if you have this and you're doing the high expression of it, that you're choosing your words carefully. Because again, if this is where language comes from, we know words matter. So, what is really important about this one is to remember that it needs to wait for recognition, invitation, timing. Otherwise, it can be spouting off random details that nobody asked for, which could potentially confuse others rather than help them. And again, you want to make sure that you have a good grasp on the facts before you go around, just assuming that you're this reliable human encyclopedia, right? These people may be super intellectual, but the true gift is making it, like easy to comprehend. So in the gene keys, this one, the shadow is intellect, the gift is precision, and the city is impeccability. So kind of a funny one for intellect, right? So Richard Rudd obviously talks about that. So he says, many people may be surprised to see the word intellect represented as one of the 64 shadows. The language of the gene keys holds true at all levels of frequency, and unlike human languages, it is not a language that can be learned and mastered via the intellect alone. To master the language of creation, we have to embody it fully at every level, not just the intellectual level. What do I say at the beginning of every episode? It's like, just relax and let it wash over you and, let it sink into your cells, right? Anyway, he goes on to say, however, in the modern world, intellect is generally regarded as a sought after and admired human gift rather than as something that might actually hamper human evolution. Therefore, it is important to clarify some terminology. Intellect is most often confused with intelligence and understanding. In the context of the gene keys, intellect refers to the thinking capacity of the human mind, which bases all its suppositions on its two main objectives, the acquisition of facts and the skill of manipulating those facts via language. Intellect is the skill of manipulating knowledge, but knowledge is quite different from understanding. Understanding in this sense does not simply refer to the activities of the mind, but to the whole experiential being. You can be a dunce at the intellectual level, but can still understand many profound truths within the heart of your being. Likewise, intelligence has nothing to do with intellect. In fact, these two attributes are often, though not always, diametrically opposed to each other. Generally speaking, the more intellectual you are, the less intelligence you use. In the context of the gene key language, intelligence is something that occurs without the use of the mind, although intelligence may also use the mind as a means to transmit itself. And then we'll pull a quote for this gene key is intelligence is of the heart, whereas intellect is of the mind. Okay, so notes on this one. This is part of a projected channel. So projector rules apply. Seen, recognized, invited. People need to want your opinions and insights. Otherwise, again, it can annoy or confuse other people with too much detail. And, this is also carrying a pressure to speak, when the ajna, again, gate 17, we're going to get there, but when its partner is connected, it's like this pressure is coming down, pressure to give your opinions and the facts. So the way logic circuitry starts, if you look up at the top, it's actually on the other side, 63. So doubt. Doubt is looking for an answer. 17 sees it's looking for the patterns, crosses over here. Looking for the patterns, it's like trying to spot, what's going on. 62 is going to translate the whole thing. So the crown is a pressure center. Energy enters into it and is trying to come down. And, like we say, everything's trying to make it to the throat. So this is a much shorter path, but there's no motor behind it. There's no energy like pushing. There's just a pressure. So this is how, how we get to that whole, this is a projected channel thing. And again, you just wait to be invited to share is a really important thing. And then the throat, each of those gates has a air quotes voice, and the voice of this one is I think. Okay, so the programming partner. So of course, that means if the sun is in gate 62 in Cancer, the earth is automatically opposite in gate 61, that's Capricorn. And I laugh about this pairing because we have super logical with like super mystical. 61 is known as inner truth, the gate of mystery. It's the awareness of universal underlying principles. And this is mutative pressure to know something new, to understand the mysteries, to know the unknowable. So this is mutative pressure to know something new, to understand the mysteries, to know the unknowable. And like I said, I see this where I'm always like, this is where it's Capricorn. It's like practical, and serious. And I'm like, it goes all mystical on gate 61. And I think of this as a direct pipeline to God, the universe, the divine. It's pure inspiration. And it's an extremely etheric energy. It wants to know the unknowable, a lot of why in this gate. And I laugh. I love this gate. This is absolutely positively one of my favorite gates in the entire chart. I'm just saying it's my vocation placement. This is how I meant to serve, is through the esoteric and mystery and all that good stuff. So the high expression of it is leaning into mystery, like letting yourself, be absorbed by it, fascinated with the unknown, contemplate it, enjoy it. Just don't try to force understanding, basically. When the time is right, it's individual knowing. It's like it just drops in. This is the one I nickname, I call it my Debbie downloads, And these are people who just know things, right? The intuitive gift of claircognizance lives in this gate. So yeah, I mean, it's just very much about quiet time, and again, being just like, I say like let go and let God with this one. You're like, I'm not gonna freak out about not knowing. I'm into it. I'm into it because then I will know things at the right time. It's definitely when I'm into all the things that I'm into. We'll just say that. Okay, so the gate that completes the channel is Aries gate 17, forming the channel of acceptance. So let's get back to logic. We're gonna get out of the mystical mystery and back into like clear-headed. I have no part of this channel, so that also makes sense. So 17 is known as following the gate of opinions, and this is the fear of change. It's having opinions based on facts, fear that your opinions will be challenged, so you don't share them. The need to have details to back up opinions. And so this one again, it's like it's that cold, hard logic, having potentially strong opinions, blurting them out, not waiting to be asked. Again, part of a projected channel. So sometimes they don't respect people with it, that it's like the truth, aka your opinion, is not the only valid one. Can be hypercritical, closed off way of seeing things, prone to mental anxiety, my goodness, always worried that it doesn't have enough facts, details, etc., to back up the opinions. But of course, there's a high expression of everything. It's definitely the ability to take a thought form, opinion, patterns, test them out using the scientific method. um, it needs to be able to hold up whatever it's doing, kind of the experiment, hold up under the scrutiny and fact checking. Then this gate is connected to the right eye and seeing patterns, working out the answers. What am I meant to share with the collective when invited? So, yeah, when the two come together, when 17, the ajna, the mind, connects down to the throat to 62, it's really for the expression of thoughts and ideas, turning it into language, making the visual verbal. So again, that right eye sees the patterns, the 62 translates them into words. This channel is actually called the design of an organizational being. So when these two come together, it is about seeing the patterns, organizing the details, communicating them in a very logical way. These people are organizers, managers, the Excel spreadsheet queens, all of that. Just it's super, super logical. I can't stress enough that if you have this, especially as a like prominent placement like your sun gate, or again, you have the full channel, whatever, this is really about your gift to the world. Like I could, again, I don't have any part of this. So it's like this is just so foreign to me. But those of us, like I said, over here in mystical 61 land, we need people like you who are organized to like help us. So I just stress it's like whatever your gifts or your superpowers are, that you really lean into them, because they're we all don't have all of the things, and we need each other's help to kind of move forward in strengths that we don't have, right? And just like, yeah. So astrologically, this channel would be in Aries, Cancer square tension for the sake of growth. And this is happening in the second quarter of the wheel civilization, where purpose is fulfilled through form, turning spirit into form. So, oh, I see things, and now I'm going to boom, bring it out into the world, via the throat center. So the esthetician connection on this one, I was thinking about this. There's some people that I do know that have it. And I do find this is definitely not naming names, one where people do get so bogged down in the details. And like I said earlier, miss, the forest for the trees. I can't see the forest for the trees. Sorry, had it the wrong way around. And really, it's like better, like zoom out, see the big picture, what's important, what's not. And even like I said, that coldness, the harshness of like how you communicate, choosing your words wisely. So if you are, like this week here in the treatment room, sometimes it's like, uh, I've just been seeing some things fly around. I mean, I always do, but some stuff about the same old stuff people keep saying. And I'm just like, what, take a softer approach to how you're trying to communicate these things to your patients, to your clients, to your social media following, because that can sometimes the words that come out can feel very like I said, harsh, and it's like, oh, I'm just trying to communicate facts. But you gotta be aware of how you do it. Anyway, I'll elaborate more all on this and the energy behind it, how to support yourself through this coming week in your treatment room or in your clinic. Over on Instagram, of course, go give me a follow at Michaela McLean if you're not already, and I will have a post up about this. the frequency to use, the essential oils, all of the things that are very supportive. Again, this is where energetic aesthetics is going, is how to work with all of this, again, in that clinically palatable way. Okay, so do you have this gate in your chart? Looking at the throat, it is going to be on the left hand side at the top, again, aiming up toward 17. So if it's red, black, or red and black, you have it. It's defined in your chart somewhere. If it's white, you do not have it, but look on the other side. See if 17 is colored and you'll have a full channel activated for approximately 6 days. Or you're like me, I got nothing here, nothing at all, you know? And so it's just like, hey, how do I observe this? And it really always is that. It's like I'm always observing people and kind of seeing how I yeah, just how it plays out, you know, how it is animated through others. Okay. So of course I would say you hit me up. I'm tinkering with threads. So come over to threads and like let's chat about this. Especially if you have it or you do observe it somewhere in your life with someone very curious about that. Okay, I will be back soon with more. If this episode was of value to you, well, make sure to leave it a 5-star rating and review. And while you're at it, make sure you're following me and Aesthetic Record, leaving your Instagram handle in your review so that you can win a ticket to Aesthetic Next. And I forgot to say it at the top of the episode, but even if you can't be there in person, you can still attend the conference virtually. So it's like enter to win, because either way, it's so good, so much education. Yeah, you just don't want to miss out on that. And of course, if you want to learn more human design, check out my free guide to $11 classes and all the other things. Once you've, like I said, been bitten by the bug, you want to go further down the rabbit hole. So of course you can catch it all. Show notes, my Instagram bio at Kim McLean, and the same handle on Threads now. If you want to chit chat about it, that's really is like that's the one thing. There's been little conversations here and there that have been fun. In fact, I did one the other day. I might do it again. But hey, post your chart and a question, and I'll tell you what I see. So feel free. We're going to see how that feels for a while. All right. Of course. Until next time, have a beautiful day.